Hello everyone, thank you for joining today's Words of Wisdom. Today's is from March 1st, but it was already used in the past, so I came up with my own from this Kyoten, Spiritual World 101. And I'd like to quote, it's from page 12, and today's Words of Wisdom is, you will be happier if you believe in the other world. You will be happier if you believe in the other world. This is from the, not the preface, the prologue of this Kyoten. And it's very beautifully written, so I'd like to just read out these 3 pages. And I quote, "You will be happier if you believe in the other world. Have you ever asked yourself which would bring you more happiness, belief or disbelief in the existence of the other world? Let's say that you're currently 40 years old and that the average lifespan is 80. Then you have another 40 years to live. You'll certainly do a number of things over the next 40 years and die at the age of 80. But if you think that after you are cremated, nothing will be left to prove you had a life on Earth apart from a handful of ashes and some carbon dioxide, then such thinking can hardly bring you happiness. Surely you would be much happier if you believed that your soul, your life energy, that led a human life under a particular name, will continue to live on forever, even after you die. If everything ended with death, then morals, philosophies, and religions would all be meaningless. What would be the point of improving your character? What reason would there be for studying, working hard, or making the effort to create good interpersonal relationships? Why put all your effort into living? If death put an end to everything, then life would be truly meaningless. There would be no point in improving your character, in making an effort, devoting yourself to study, or aiming to improve your character. Only con artists would recommend that you do so. Even though you may succeed in gaining status, income, and an earthly form of happiness by improving your character, if everything ends with death, then these are quite meaningless. Which way of thinking do you think will lead to true happiness? If you believe that the knowledge and abilities you have struggled to acquire in this world can be taken with you to the world after death, and that your character will continue to exist in the next world, then surely your efforts now will seem more meaningful. Your exertions will appear more wonderful. The question is whether to believe that everything ends with death or to believe that your character will remain after death, and that if you make as much effort as you can, you'll be able to continue wonderful activities even after you've died. Which do you want to bet on? Which belief will bring you greater happiness? As I will explain in this book, I have absolute proof of the existence of the other world, of the world after death. There can be no doubt that betting on the existence of a world after death will allow you to live a happier life. I want you to decide for yourself which way of thinking will bring the greatest happiness, to accept what should be accepted, and to study the knowledge of truth rationally. I believe this is most important. Once you know about the true world, and once you understand that the way you live your life will decide which realm you go to after death, at the very least, you will no longer need to fear the world after death." End quote. Very powerful, right? And it was a long phrase, so I'm just going to add one explanation, which that's the last part that I read. It's better off to accept what should be accepted and to study the knowledge of truth rationally. So it's true. It's 120% true, 200% true. Master has said this over and over again, and he has continuously proved through his work called Spiritual Interview Series or Spiritual Messages, where he channels a spirit in front of live camera, live audience. It's video recorded, and that conversation with Master channeling that spirit with the interviewers are transcribed into a book. And he's published over, I'm sorry, he lost the count, but like he's done over 1,000 spiritual messages from different beings, and every single one is not scripted, and it's just impossible, right? It is impossible to make that up. So he's constantly been proving that the spiritual world exists. And here's the thing, it's a yes or no. There's no like 55% that the spiritual world could exist. There's not even 90% that it could exist. It's 100 or a 0. And this is such an important decision that you should make as soon as possible. Because this book and Happy Science Teachings has been teaching us that it's so much better off to believe in the afterworld, accept that as the truth, and then by doing so, the happiness will increase in this life much, much more. The efforts we make, we can understand that we can take it back with us to the other world. That's why Happy Science is full of happy people in their elder twilight years. Like all the people here in Happy Science in their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s are super joyful, super happy, and they're very constructive and positive. And I believe it's based on this belief, Master Ryuho Okawa's teachings, that every single effort that you make, every experience you have can be carried over to your next life and then into your reincarnation. So yes, even if you're 80 years old, you can start learning something new because that will be applied in your next life. You see, everything is going to turn into a positive cycle if you believe and grasp that the other world exists. So, I hope, I mean, obviously people who are watching this video already probably believe in the afterlife, but I'm sure there's people around you who doesn't. And unfortunately, those people are not living their life to the fullest potential. And there's going to be a lot of suffering in the end if they don't accept this spiritual world. So please use this video and the knowledge you got from here and from this kyoten, this book, to help persuade other people how important it is to believe in the afterlife. That will be end for today. Thank you very much.